r/AskReddit. Which cheap and mass-produced item is stupendously well engineered? The humble corrugated cardboard box. It's lightweight, strong, splash resistant, somewhat padded, doesn't break down in heat cold, scratch resistant, recyclable, biodegradable and able to be assembled cheaply into any size. The basic design has existed for over 150 years. The retail shipping industry runs on cardboard boxes. The Corrugated Fiberboard Association of America would like to remind you that it's the humble corrugated fiberboard box you're referring to. A cardboard box is what your shoes come in. Edit typo. Phone. My son is a box. Damn you. A box. The zipper. It's a very cheap mechanism that secures objects in a very neat fashion. No wonder it's used in most objects that need to be opened and closed, such as luggage and jackets. This one is one underrated invention. The original manufacturer YKK keeps such a secret around the process that they even build themselves the production equipment. Sewing person here adding, not all zippers are created equal. There is a big difference in quality. Those zippers in the top of a purse or a great jacket that just move smoothly like butter. Yep, great quality. The cheap ones are the ones that will drive you nuts and get stuck. I always get the best quality for what I'm making. Huge difference. And those top quality zippers are also a lot more expensive. Like $5.7 each. Open bracket. Versus very roughly, a cheaper zipper can go for like $0.5250 EA. Added fun fact that includes zippers. Often, the most expensive part of a handbag is the hardware, and this includes all the zippers. Edit. CU/SGT Kashim's comment below on replacing his diving wetsuit YKK zipper nearing $200. Not exactly cheap, but I'm impressed that I can have a ceiling fan run on high for 15 years straight and not have it explode on me. I seriously startled myself when I realized the only time my ceiling fan had been off since I moved in was when the power went out. You should turn it off to clean it once in a while. It gets sticky dust on it. Toilets. They use nothing more than gravity to reliably flush. Doesn't use power at all. And if you've ever used a poorly engineered toilet, you really learn to appreciate the well-engineered ones. Edit. Never would have expected my most upvoted comment on Reddit to be about toilets. Worst kind of shitters are the ones that get skid marks 100% of the time, no matter how or where you lower the turd. The lighter. Spontaneously ignite fire basically whenever you want. Specifically, Bic lighters are incredibly reliable. You can find one on the ground that's been outside for months and they still work. Cheaper disposables break in a million ways, and more expensive refillable lighters will leave you disappointed if you store them. But you can always keep a Bic handy and know it'll work when you need it. I have a women's model Zippo that my grandfather got my grandmother sometime around the Korean War. Has gone through hell and back, including being underwater and then under sludge for about 2 weeks straight thanks to Hurricane Agnes in 1972. I have yet to have it fail on me. The transistor. I remember how amazed we were in 1985 to see a chip with 68,000 transistors. Now they are at 68 billion. My favorite part was in school my professor talking about how they used to do the layouts on transparencies by hand, or how during Apollo the guidance aspect of the program was buying up a significant portion of the national production capacity of transistors. LEDs, cheap diodes, even colors. Okay, I dislike the blue ones, but tint them and you get warm white. Blue LEDs are a Nobel Prize winning invention for how revolutionary they have been in lighting. Gallium nitride is making waves again for being super efficient. You'll see plenty of tiny USB chargers that produce almost no heat. It is also resistant to high heat areas like engine bays. Toilets. I've been a plumber 20 years and very little has changed or needed to. Minimal upkeep, cheap and easy repair, very long life. Hey, so what is the difference between my house toilet that just flushes like regular and a commercial toilet in like a doctor's building where if you flush it will also suck the clothing right off you? Is there a pressure regulator behind the toilet or something? Ooh, this is a fun one. In your home toilet you have a tank filled with water, and when you flush it allows the water to dump into the bowl and flood it, causing it to siphon out. Commercial toilets have either a manual or powered valve that allows full water pressure to blast into the bowl for a set time. It all but ensures it'll flush since anything in the bowl is blended, but it's a more expensive design. Ball bearings. Even the cheapest ball bearings with the loosest tolerances are still made in the 1050 micron range of tolerance. It only gets better from there. Open bracket. ABEX spec anyways. Edit. When I say ball bearings, I'm loosely referring to the races and rolling elements of any roller element bearing. Open bracket. Ball, taper, needle, cylinder, etc. 2 races, 1 race, no race, etc. If you had the ABEX 5S, you were a god at the skate rink. The ballpoint pen. Clearly. Give credit to the inventor, Laszlo Biro. He escaped the Nazis, invented the pen, then got ripped off and never made money. So that's the reason why it is called Biro in English. The aluminium beverage can. To expand upon this, Guinness wanted to sell their beer in cans but didn't want to sacrifice the iconic head on their beer. Their solution was a device called a widget. It's a small sphere filled with nitrogen with a tiny hole in it. Under pressure the nitrogen stays inside the ball. When the can is opened and the pressure drops, the nitrogen escapes, agitates the beer, and creates just the right amount of head. I wish I got just the right amount of head. Batteries are marvels of engineering packed tightly into a minuscule canister. Even AA batteries are incredibly sophisticated internally. I saw a video of someone take apart a lithium energizer battery the other day, and it looks like cotton balls and folded foil just all jammed together. Like someone figured out how to harness so much energy into that thing. Edit. This is my most popular comment. It's me admitting that I can barely tie my shoes, and here are people just casually throwing atoms together to make my car go zoom. I saw the same video. It just looked like 2 sheets of different material wrapped into a spiral and shoved into a tiny cylinder. To a layman, it looks so simple in terms of the physical parts, but I'm sure there's a lot more going on there. Glass bottles. Let's melt this rock into a clear, brittle material and turn it into what? Windows? Decorations? Screens? No, we're making pressure vessels, baby. Zip ties. Such a simple piece of plastic but so versatile. I have one of the old-fashioned chain link fences. Some of the fasteners on the middle poles broke and in high winds the fence was swaying like crazy. A half dozen zip ties on the 3 posts and it doesn't budge and nobody even knows they're there. My son rebuilt the front of his car with them time and again. He's a genius with a zip tie, with not hitting the car in front of him. Not so much. Zip tie bumper stitches are pretty common with drift kids. Metal pencil sharpeners, the manual kind, not electric. Don't buy the plastic ones in the school supply section. Go to the art section. Those metal sharpeners are choice. I have a Blackwing 2-stage sharpener. I could do surgery with a pencil sharpened with it. Please don't. The intermodal shipping container, aka the Connect box. There are millions of the damn things all over the world, in use every single day. They are stackable, can be locked together, attach readily to ships, truck trailer frames, and rail cars, and can bear enormous loads. The cost of their manufacture compared to their economic use value over their useful lives is next to nothing. I was on a vessel a few weeks back when they were doing the lashing on the containers, and being in between containers stacked about 20 high would have been so much more terrifying if they hadn't all fit together so nicely. Screws. Can you imagine what would happen if all the screws suddenly disappeared from world? Everything would fall apart. We would be screwed. Tool punts. Everyone, you know the drill. Road reflectors. Countless lives saved. Similarly, rumble strips. On the shoulders and in the center. I'm sure they've saved my dad's life many times over. Without them, blind people wouldn't be able to drive. Quartz movement clocks. You can literally pick one up for £2.50 here. https://www.ikea.com GBNP trauma wall clock white 80,454,290. The technology and gearing that goes into its functions is well worth the costs. I'm a certified master watchmaker. I restore 18th and 19th century pocket watches. Have always appreciated the quartz movement despite the fact that it wiped out 99% of the watchmaking jobs. If you need a watch for accuracy, get a quartz movement. It'll be more accurate than a $10,000 mechanical movement. But also substantially less cool to most people, lol. Bic pens and lighters. And the most stolen items. I once met a guy at a house party who showed me his Bic lighter collection. He didn't smoke, but at this party house would always get handed one and he would always pocket it. His collection was huge and I think he was single-handedly responsible for a large percentage of Bic lighter disappearances in the UK between 2004 to 2010. Soda beer cans. The design has existed for decades with few changes. It's a way of using a relatively small amount of cheap metal to withstand the pressure of carbonated beverages with a reliable opening mechanism. During pandemic, I also noticed that some companies stopped using thicker material on the upper ridge of the can. Probably due to supply shortages. They instead used a sort of stepped system that appeared to be almost as strong. Every few years you will see the can design change as they find additional areas to reduce the use of aluminum. You can still find newly manufactured cans in the old designs in some of the more remote areas with less demand. Like Hawaii, it's cheaper to create and fill cans on the island than import them. But the payback from updating to the newest can forming machines isn't quite there for the volume of cans they manufacture. So they get hand-me-downs and cast-offs. Tarps. A million tasks for them. They're incredibly versatile. Make a shelter. Make a floor. Make a carriage vessel. Make a weatherproof housing for firewood or anything outdoors you want protected. Use it at a picnic. It's better than a blanket on the ground. Because of the threading, they're still mostly effective even when a tear develops. And because of that same threading, they can distribute weight and hold up against snow and rain buildup. Then you can just take it down. Spray it with a hose if needed. It's good as new. Fold it up to a compact form and toss it in a corner until you need it next. You are never far from a store or gas station that sells them for cheap. Always keep one in your trunk. Velcro. Soda cans. The level of engineering in the average soda can is absolutely mind-blowing. Injection molded stuff like plastic ball valves. Stuff we don't think about, but is amazingly good and cheap. https://www.youtube.com watch v=i4fsx4. Lego. When's the last time you got 2 bricks that didn't fit or that were loose? TBF Lego is actually quite expensive as far as toys go, but if I recall correctly, their manufacturing tolerance is literally tighter than some components used by NASA, and in theory the first ever brick manufactured would work with one manufactured today. Being pointlessly pedantic, but a higher tolerance would mean a worse product, one with more variations. Tough question. I'd say stainless steel cutlery. How many other things in life are used almost every day, then machine washed, thrown haphazardly into a drawer and regularly survive in a working condition for much more than a century? I really like Bic products. Lighters, ballpoint pens, razor blades, etc. They're all very robust despite being cheap mass-produced plastic items. Until this moment, I had never connected that these Bic products were all from the same company. Amazing that they've produced a variety of incredibly cheap but still reasonable quality items. Clothespins pegs. The wooden ones. People keep on trying to find some other way to do the job but never come up with something this durable and reliable. The missus keeps buying plastic ones which degrade in the sun and shatter left, right, and center all over the garden. A doorknob and a lock. Not that they don't have their flaws, but I'd have a hard time making something that works that reliably that frequently. A red brick. And they are remarkably similar in shape and size to bricks made thousands of years ago. It's just the right size to handle. Turns out that human hand size is a relatively convenient size to make things. Hard drives. Ducking spinning glass disks that hold terabytes of data. Yep, this is the one where I really think they engineered that to hell. The heads fly microns above the platters on a cushion of air. In newer drives, helium. The precision of the voice coils in aligning the heads. The DSP circuitry to process the signal that should be noise. and modern hard disks have to warm the area they write with a laser so it'll hold the magnetic charge. They spin for years and are surprisingly fast. Absolutely incredible. As a new parent, diapers, disposable diapers in particular, imagine being told as an engineer, you need to design a device to contain the vilest, grossest materials known to man, both liquids and goopy solids. This device must have 3 tight seals against a constantly moving and wiggling life form of inconsistent size. Said life form has notoriously delicate skin, so the materials you can use are drastically limited. It must be able to be removed and installed in seconds by amateurs running on approximately 14 minutes of sleep. And it has to cost about 30 cents a unit. Legos. Virtually indestructible through normal means. Last forever. Extremely simple. Endlessly versatile. And now they are manufactured with recycled plastic. The Lego Group is also the world's largest manufacturer of car tires in the world. Schrader valve. Just think of the number of those in service every day, from the most simple to complex pieces of machinery, and where we would be without them. Jerry can. https://yahoo bxwukbghfrs. Jerry can what? Those containers used to store Chinese food. They are durable, compact, keep the food hot, and don't really leak. They also collapse into a plate if you choose to. My favorite thing might be they don't take up much space in the rubbish bin either. Great product, and must cost less than a cent. Whistle. For a few cents, you can be heard in the middle of nowhere for nearly a mile. Much louder than your voice. Great if you are lost. Hinges. I had to study on them for my engineering class. Those thermic isolated cups you see construction workers drinking from. You can't say Stanley or Yeti is just junk after trying it out. I bought the Stanley Grandpa Going Fishing Thermos. If you follow the instructions, it's ungodly how well it works. I actually started using their method with my cold Yeti can thingy and it's amazing. For those unfamiliar with how to use a thermos properly, you fill the thermos with boiling water for about 15 minutes. Dump that water out, and then put in your coffee tea. By preheating your thermos, it will keep that drink hotter than hell for hours beyond the already long heat containment you get using a room temp thermos. If you fill a can with water, freeze it, and put it in your Yeti can cooler for a bit before you put your drink in it, it will extend its cooling abilities too. Secondary fun fact, you can also use a thermos as a slow cooker. I'd preheat my thermos, put my stew ingredients in a pan and bring it to a boil. Dump it all into my thermos, and leave it in my lunchbox for the 5-6 hours until lunch. It's still steaming hot and all the ingredients have cooked down. It even worked with those ultra tough beef stew chunks and raw bully. Both were soft and slow cooked to perfection. The humble monoblock chair, commonly known as those white plastics chairs you can find absolutely everywhere in the world. The brick, made out of mud and lasts for centuries in the way it can distribute load for large buildings. Rubber bands. Carabiners, cheap, easy to use, super useful for just about anything, and the higher grade ones, 30ish USD, can hold up a truck. What else needs to be said? Paperclip. Computer processors, they're rocks we tricked into thinking. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.